Some shows talk about one team. Other shows barely talk sports. This show will talk Packers, Brewers, and Bucks every day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily with Steve Sparky Fifer, served up by Wendy's on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan. Download the Wendy's app today.
We're broadcasting live from the 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan studios. This is Nate Bargatze, comedian guy in the booth on FanDuel Sports Network. Do you know who I think he reminds me of?
Who's that?
I'm older, so this may be horrible. I think he reminds me of a young Jim Gantner. I think that might be who he kind of reminds me of as a young Gumby. That might be who he kind of looks like.
I'll
to
take
me.
your word for that.
Yeah.
I know Jim Gantner. I don't know his face off the top of my head.
Yeah. I think he might look like a young Jim Gantner. Maybe I'm nuts. Maybe somebody on YouTube chat watching the TV and having us up on YouTube will be able to tell me if I'm right or wrong on this. Or social media. Facebook and Twitter at The Fan Milwaukee. Sound off with a recorded voice message on the Odyssey app. You can do that as well. Let's get to our update.
It's time for your green and gold update on Wisconsin Sports Daily, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook on 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan with Steve Sparky Fifer.
All right, green and gold update time. I told you we're here from Matt LaFleur. Before we do that, I want you to hear this. This is Stacey Dales, very nice person. Time with the Packers offense in their wide receiver room on NFL Network. Another shining example of national people talking about teams that people watch. Check this out.
I just want to remind everybody, this is the youngest team in the National Football League per Spot Track, an average age of 25 years old. It was the youngest offense in the NFL a season ago, and it's been by committee with Jordan Love at the helm. And just to throw out a few numbers here in terms of how young this offense is and how by committee it has been outside of the running back Josh Jacobs. They had 5 players last season with 400-plus receiving yards, the only team in the NFL to have such. Those guys, of course, Reed, Dobbs, Watson, Kraft, the tight end, and Wicks. But Jaden Reed was their number one receiver in terms of his receptions. He had 55. But if you look across the league, as I checked in with our research team, third fewest among the top guys, the number ones in the NFL. What does that mean? They don't have a clear-cut number one. When I say by committee, it's something that the head coach and play caller really likes. In Matt LaFleur, he actually said today, the beauty of our offense is you really don't know where necessarily who's going to get the football. It frees up the quarterback because he doesn't feel that pressure. I got to get this guy the ball. But I think it's so important to have some definition, Mark. That's what I'm looking for when I head to Green Bay with you on Sunday. Who are those guys, those reliability guys, those blanket security guys that Jordan Love is going to have as this maturity develops as he goes into the third year as starter? Because he's got to have that sort of Rodgers-Adams guy in situational football that he can go to. And I just want to end with this. The Packers were really good offensively, top 5 total offense last season, but per Pro Football Focus, tops in the league alongside Cleveland with 25 wide receiver drops. That's the wide receiver core. And so when you're spraying that ball around, do those guys know? Are they prepared at all times in terms of situational football? Got to clean that up and maybe define some of those roles here this training camp.
So there's Stacey Dales talking about how young this offense is, Reed, and all of this other stuff. This is the thing. And I don't know if she talked to coaches or she talked to Goot, or this is just her opinion based on what she watched last year when she was at the NFL Network, one way or the other. But I do appreciate her talking about this because from my perspective, looking at this, and Charlie's perspective, as we've said each and every single day, there cannot be a reliance on the wide receiving core on this team, I don't think, to win football games. This cannot be an Aaron Rodgers, offense where it's Jordy, it's Driver, it's Devontae, it's all these cats, it's all these guys that you're relying on to do their jobs. They're not at that level. They're just not at that level. This offense has to be based on the run game, the play action, the tight ends, and then sprinkle in some wide receivers to go along with that. But if we're going into every game thinking we're going to throw the ball 30 to 35 times to wide receivers, and not include the ground game and some of these other things, I think you're going to be in for a rude awakening here of how this whole thing is going to play out. I just don't think that's a route that you necessarily want to go. I'm not saying don't pass to him at all, but what I am saying is don't build an offense around him.
No, and that's not how they've built this team. If you look at the way they've constructed this roster, going out and getting a guy like Matthew Golden in the first round, like we've said multiple times, doesn't scream automatic wide receiver number one. It screams that you're bolstering that wide receiver room with another talented wide receiver that fits into a gap that you were missing. And that's all that really was, which also tells me that you want to have a more even offense. You want to have a more light offense. I think the other thing is everybody keeps calling for Jordan Love to take that next step. They want Jordan Love to have the offense this year and want Matt LaFleur to give him the offense. The problem is if you've watched the past 2 seasons, this offense looked better when Matt LaFleur was controlling it. When
Correct.
Matt LaFleur was telling Jordan Love what to do and telling Malik Willis what to do, and he was the one controlling it and telling how this offense needs to run, that's where it works best. I want Jordan Love to take that next step too, but if it's not realistic, it's not realistic.
No, and it's, again, I don't think it's as much about Jordan Love as these receivers letting Jordan Love down time and time again. That's what happened last year. Reed letting him down for sure. Dontavian Wicks letting him down for sure too. I mean, that's kind of where we're at. You expect them to take a step forward, to take a step back going into this year. You don't expect Jaden Reed to play as bad as he played last year. You don't expect Dontavian Wicks to play as bad as he did last year. Again, just look at the Warren Sharp stats. We've had Warren Sharp on. They were the 2 worst receivers in football, guys. They were the 2 worst receivers in football from that perspective of making mistakes. It wasn't even close. Let's go to Q on the north side. You're up first on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. What's up, Q?
Happy Friday, Sparky.
Hello. How are you?
I have never felt so heard in my life by the national media. First, we got Ken Rosenthal saying Mark Antanasio's cheap and needs to trade for people and capitalize on this roster.
Yep.
Now, what was this lady's name? Stacey
Dales. She's been with NFL Network for a long time.
Stacey Dales is saying that we've underinvested in wide receiver, and this Brian Gutekunst just never has any direction. We invest in a $55 million quarterback with very limited success and experience, and then we just give him no weapons, and then we just start randomly overpaying offensive linemen, committing to the run. What's the point of having an unproven, overpaid quarterback if you're just going to be a run-first offense? I think they've dug their own grave, unless MVP Jordan Love, unless we have our 3rd MVP quarterback in a row. That's the only way he saves his job this season, in my opinion.
They're both going to get extensions. I'm not even worried about them losing their jobs. Thanks for the call. Not even concerned about them losing their jobs. Listen, guys, they're going to win 11, 12 games. They're going to win 11 or 12 games. That's what's going to happen. I'm just here to tell you right now, they're going to win 11 and 12 games. And when they win 11 and 12 games and they go to the playoffs, maybe they'll be in the playoffs again, first game maybe, but that's not going to get anybody fired or lose their job. Now, if something crazy happens, if Jordan Love and this offense is healthy and they win 5 games, 6 games, then yeah, then Q may be right. Then maybe Ed Policy, who takes over today for the Green Bay Packers, maybe then he decides to make a move at that point. But if you've heard Ed Policy talk, he likes both these dudes. He was in the room for the LaFleur hire, and he was a part of the Goody hire. So he knew what was going on when they made these decisions. He's been there in the front office for all of these decisions that they've made in the direction that they've went. He was in the room when they decided to pay Jordan Love all this money. Let's not act like Ed Policy was innocent in all of this, and he was like, the only guy in the room saying, no, don't pay him. No. And I don't think anybody in the front office has any regrets about paying Jordan Love money, nor should they have any regrets about it. You got some receivers that had bad years, and he was hurt. Nothing bad about that. Jordan Love comes back this year and puts up even better numbers than last year. And last year, his numbers were pretty good considering he missed, 2.5 games last year? Nobody wants to talk about that, though. We always want to focus on the negative. The people that don't like Jordan Love, they take everything they can to bash Jordan Love. That's just how this works, and that's fine. I understand. Ram, North Side, you're next here on the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text Line. What's up, Ram?
What's going on, Sparky? Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
I hear the Sparky rant on the Packers. I hear it.
Well, we're getting about that time of the year where I'm going to have to be the Jordan Love defender again like I was last year.
I see. You got your shield on. They got you on the O-line right now.
It's fine. I got my guy. I will protect Jordan Love at all costs.
Okay, I got a question. So, in the division that the Packers in, what place do you think they finish?
First.
Now, that linebacker for Detroit is back.
Yep. I also know both their coordinators. Yeah, but their coordinators are gone. So, doesn't matter.
Well, the talent is still there. So
Jared Goff will go back to being Jared Goff is my prediction.
You think?
Yep. Wow. I'll tell you something else. Caleb Williams better figure it out over there in Chicago. I think his first 2 possessions earlier today, he had a pick 6 going the other way and another pick on the second possession. It was so bad that Dove Kleiman character on Twitter was posting it out. I was like, oh, my God, seriously? Well, it's the third training camp practice, and we're posting out what Caleb Williams is doing already? Good Lord.
Okay, I get that, but it's training camp. And,
yes, it's training camp.
You're knocking off the roof. But when my thing with Jordan Love is, he really had no receipts coming to the NFL. And the receipts he do have has been since he's been in the NFL.
Right.
And I think he kind of gets a bad rep. But when you talk about playing meaningful games, those 2 people that you mentioned have played a lot more meaningful games.
Well, they've been around a lot longer. Jared Goff has been.
Right. And the last thing I'm going to say is this. So this thing about the Packer receivers, I heard and read that article about the lady you said that wrote and a couple other people. They're not lying about that. They're not lying about it. It's almost like you throwing some wet paper towels at the board and see which ones that stick. But I think Packer people, they want a Devontae Adams type. They want somebody who can go get it. At least have one person like that. And right now, I don't see that, Sparky.
That guy has to be Christian Watson, and he can't stay on the field, and it's killing him. Yes, that's got to be your dude. Athletically and talent-wise, he's the most talented guy in this wide receiving core. Now, we'll see what Golden looks like once we get into the season here. But I think it's Christian Watson. He's got length.
Okay. Last take. So if you had to throw some numbers out there on a parlay on Watson for the season, what would you say it would be?
Well, the problem is we don't know when he's coming back. I mean, there's some speculation he'll be back maybe right after the Packers bye week early on. So like second week of October he would be back. So I don't know. I'll say he ends up with 900 yards and 8 touchdowns.
Okay, so if he's not that person, the person would probably be Dobbs?
No, it's going to be Golden. It better be Golden. The rookie. It's not Dobbs. Dobbs, listen here. If we talk about talent, Dobbs is behind Watson, Reed, Wicks, and Golden. He's 5th. He's a nice player. He's a good player. Possession guy, type guy, whatever, but he's not special. No, thanks for the call. If we're talking about the next special player, wide receiver, you need special traits and so forth to go along with it. Dobbs is thick. Not scared to go across the middle, get his head taken off his shoulders. That's all good. Decent hands. That's all good. Special? No, I don't see special. Is this the chunk of love in Cudahy? What's up, chunk of love?
Oh, my God, Sparky. Why do I always have to call after callers that just seem to hate on Packers? Well, what is happening?
I don't know. There's a lot of hate towards the Packers, though. I'll say that.
Yeah, and again, Q, what are we talking about? About firing Gutekunst, firing LaFleur? It's just not happening. Are we forgetting that Brian Gutekunst has gone out and made some of the most impactful free agent signings over the last couple of seasons? I mean, who was the most impactful defensive signing in the league last year? And you can't even tell me, at least for the first half, it was Xavier McKinney by a long shot. And people weren't even sure if that move was happening until it finally did. Gutekunst is going out and doing what he has to do. I think his job is 100% safe just by the moves that he always makes. And Ram, you're talking about meaningful games. Caleb Williams didn't do jack diddly squat in any meaningful game ever. In fact, the most meaningful thing that he did in a meaningful game was cry after his team lost in college. I mean, that's literally it. This Packers team is going to be a persistent force. That's what they've been for the better part of the last 40 years. They're always right there. And like you said, Sparky, losing those two coordinators in Detroit, it's 100% going to give them a step back, especially if that means less people with less credibility are standing up to Dan Campbell when he's making some extremely ballsy calls.
Yep.
This is going to be a different division, and if the Packers aren't at the top, they're going to be second. There's no way that they're in the bottom half of the division. This is just wild.
I'm with
People
you.
need to stop drinking during the day.
Well, I would not. I'm never against that. Thanks for the call, Chunk of Love. No, I'm not. Don't be getting on day drinkers. There's nothing wrong with that.
Sometimes
day
it's
drinking.
fun to day drink.
Nothing wrong with a little day drink.
I enjoy a
if
good
you got
day
a
drinking
day
day,
off and
yeah.
you want to day drink a little bit, hey.
Brewers baseball is on right
Yeah,
now.
you don't think there's day drinking going on in American Family Field today? You got that post home run derby coming up. Everything else.
Come on, I think some of those home run derby participants may have a beer or two in their
See,
hands.
that's the other thing, man. These guys are getting made fun of already. I already got a buddy text me and said, hey, man, because they were having all these guys try out before the game. They're like, hey, man, these guys are kind of chunky. Well, Doug, they haven't played athletically for how long? Like, what do you think? I think Fielder looks svelte, if you ask me.
He looks good.
Fielder's in the booth right now with BA and Rock. He looks svelte. He looks good, man. He looks young.
So you throw on a jersey, maybe hit some home runs for the crew.
He looks young, man. Yeah, put Braun back in the lineup. Put Fielder back in the lineup for the postseason.
If he wins the home run derby today, do you try to re-sign Prince?
Yes.
Bring him back? Yeah.
Yeah. It's obviously not going to happen. He had that neck issue. That's why he got forced into retirement. But either way. All right, time for your fan weather forecast. 78 degrees right now, partly cloudy skies. There's a high of 80 earlier today. Feels like 78 degrees out. Air quality alert until 11 o'clock tonight. And a low of 67. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's, live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM, the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sports Book. Up next, Andy Herman from the Pack a Day Radio Show, weekday mornings from 8 to 9 here on the Fan. Welcome back. It is Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy. Steve Sparky Fifer with you. Still to come, Bart Lundy, head coach of the Milwaukee Panthers basketball team. He was in attendance last night at the induction of Mason Crosby, Ernie Johnson, and Joe Thomas into the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame. We'll talk to him about the big golf outing coming up for Milwaukee men's basketball. Plus, Charlie Sounds of the day to wrap up the show. Joining us now on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. He is Andy Herman of the Pack-A-Day radio show, weekday mornings, 8 to 9 here on the Fan. And, of course, his Pack-A-Day podcast as well, updating the Brewers game. Jackson Cherry, who got hit earlier in the game in the fingers, and we weren't sure how bad it was. He just hit a solo homer to tie it at 1 with the Marlins at American Family Field. Mr. Herman, how are you today?
I am doing fantastic. Just got that update as well. Was excited about that. 1-1 ball game now. So, yeah, hopefully Brewers can pull out a win. We get a fun. He's getting the home run derby. Was it before or after the game?
After the game. And it's on FanDuel, so you can still watch it.
Getting started early. So, love that for Churio.
I'm telling you, I recorded this game and like an hour or 2 hours after this game to make sure I recorded that home run derby after the game so I can watch it when I get a chance later tonight. I was joking earlier, Andy Herman, about you, and I was wondering whether or not you had your pom-poms and your cheerleading outfit on for Dontavian Wicks, and did you shave your legs before practice or not? Because, man, you were excited about Dontavian Wicks on Twitter today.
I am always excited about Dontavian Wicks, and usually on Twitter, if not on the podcast as well. Like I said, I will never sell my stock. It's going to be, 2040. He's going to be trying out for a UFL team. And I'm just going to say, if you can just catch the ball this year, Dontavian Wicks might be something for someone. No, I really like Wicks. I think the thing that is fantastic that I think goes really unnoticed with him is he is such a tenacious blocker on the outside. I think he's actually the Packers' best blocking wide receiver, which is why he continues to get opportunities. His route running is phenomenal. He knows how to get open. And of course, yes, the hands have been an issue, and it's a very important aspect of playing wide receiver in the NFL is the ability to catch the ball. He today had a 50-yard bomb in a 2-minute drill from Jordan Love. Once again, did a great job of separating, easily brought in the pass. At that point, he had caught everything his way the entirety of training camp. Of course, I might have jinxed him a little bit. He did have one hit him in the hands a little bit after that. But I will say Nate Hobbs was there a little too physical. Matt LaFleur talked to Nate Hobbs after that play. Might have been slightly early as well. So I'm willing to give Wicks a little bit of accident forgiveness on that one. But he's been fantastic so far and had a really big play today.
Let's talk about Nate Hobbs because when they got him and they brought him as a free agent, you talk to people in Vegas and it's like he's a slot corner. He's probably not going to be a boundary corner. Okay, fine. So now he gets here. And if he's a slot corner, if that's what's going to happen, what does that mean for a guy like Javon Bullard? Because that was his role last year. And when we saw him at safety last year, that didn't go so well. So I'm just curious to see how this is all going to play out.
Yeah, so first of all, I'll say Javon Bullard's had a really nice start to camp. He punched out a ball today from Tucker Kraft, and Kraft put the ball on the ground in that situation. But he's had a really nice start. But my expectation, and this was going in, and we've kind of see this play out in training camp so far. They have two different nickel defenses. They've got kind of what I consider their base or their big nickel, and then they've got kind of more their passing situation nickel. In their big nickel, in more early downs, it is Javon Bullard in the slot with Hobbs and Nixon on the outside, but then, of course, Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams at safety. Right. In the more obvious passing down nickel, it is same thing, Williams and McKinney on the back end. You now have Nixon as one of the outside corners with Valentine as an outside corner, and then Hobbs kicks into the slot. And I think, number one, that versatility for Nate Hobbs is fantastic. The fact that he can do either is really impressive. He's looked really good as an outside corner. I could not have expected anything more from him so far. He is tenacious. He is scrappy. He brings a great energy. He's communicative. It's early. Nobody's crowning anyone for any reason at this point in time, 3 days into training camp. But man, does he look the part so far. And I think Packers fans are going to really enjoy watching him play.
I want to go back to the wide receiver room, if you don't mind, Andy Herman. And I want to ask you a question, something that's been brought up twice now on this show in the last couple of days. I give you a top 5 list, 1 through 5. Rank the top 5 wide receivers in that room based on the most talented wide receivers in that room. How would you rank the top 5 most talented receivers in that Packers wide receiver room?
Are we adding Christian Watson in this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Watson, Savion Williams.
Woo! Savion Williams too?
Yeah, he's like, there's a battle with Watson. Like, if you told me every single wide receiver in this room met their ceiling, Savion Williams, I think, is probably the best wide receiver on this team.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And I think the percentage odds of him actually doing that are, whatever. I don't want to necessarily put anything down in the Potawatomi Sportsbook on that, but I think some of the stuff that I saw earlier in his career, the first couple of years at TCU as a true wide receiver, it is phenomenal. It is so unbelievably fun. Of all the things, of all the tape studies, of everything that I did this entire offseason, probably my favorite was Savion Williams from his, couple years prior to this year where they started using him more as a wildcat guy. Now, again, hands have to come along, nuanced route running has to come along, but you talk about 6'3" and just unbelievably fast, goes up and makes plays. I honestly, I'm still going to put Watson 1, but I would have no issue with putting Savion Williams number 1 on that list. So I'm going to go Watson 1, Savion Williams 2, Golden 3, Wicks and Reed tied for 4, and I guess 4 or 5, and then I'll go Dobbs as the one after that.
Agreed. Yep, I agree. Yeah. I did not have Savion Williams in mine. I had Dobbs 5. I didn't have Savion Williams even in my top 5. I haven't seen him, obviously, all that much. So you putting him there. Woo-wee.
And again, I would almost say that going into this season, it would not stun me if, let's say McCole Hardman makes the receiver at number 6, right? Let's say he gets that number 6 wide receiver spot as the primary punt returner. It would not surprise me at all if we saw Savion Williams inactive for games and McCole Hardman as your 5th wide receiver, because he's going to be your punt returner, and a good chunk of this season be almost like a redshirt season for Savion Williams. So again, I when I say that, I'm talking obviously potential here. I'm not saying what I expect this year, even maybe in the next couple of years. But again, if you told me every receiver in this room hit their highest potential, to me, Savion's probably number 1 on that list.
Andy Herman, Pack a Day Radio Show, weekday mornings, 8 to 9 here on The Fan. Of course, Pack a Day podcast each and every day. Download both of them wherever you download your favorite podcast at. Follow him on Twitter at Andy Herman NFL. Of course, follow him on Blue Sky as well. This is something that I'm curious to see your take. And I don't think you're actually going to do this.
Okay.
But this whole thing about LaFleur, I didn't even know that guy was out there when you asked him about the offensive lineman back in minicamps, OTAs. Not a big deal. Downplaying the whole Bo Melton thing as well when they line him up at corner, right? I don't read too much into it, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. And now here we are, and he's playing corner mainly is where we are now with Bo Melton. If he ever says that to you again, I would be like, Bo Melton. Don't start with me. Everything that you do in OTAs and minicamp is done with a purpose for a reason. They're not just kind of randomly doing stuff just cause. That was ridiculous when he gave you that answer on the offensive lineman. Equally ridiculous that they were playing it down. Charlie was playing it down on this show to me that I was overreacting to Bo Melton being at corner to try and make this roster. Now here he is again in that space, and you tell me how he's looked so far.
Yeah, so I want to go back. So the question that I asked Matt, so Donovan Jennings was started with the ones on the offensive line. And I even sort of prefaced the question of I know we're not supposed to read much into this, but, what have you seen from Donovan Jennings so far? And, kind of getting that look with the ones today. And he's like, I didn't even know that Donovan Jennings was out with the one.
Right.
Okay, sure. There is a part of me that potentially believes that was a, Luke Butkus call, or that was an Adam Stenovich call.
Sure.
But again, it's not like JJ Lippy could have gone over there and with ones and be like, guys, I got this one today.
Exactly.
It's not like Jennings just made that decision on his own of don't worry, guys, I'm going to take this spot. So somebody made that determination.
Yep.
It's interesting in and of itself. So whatever, the answer is fine. I don't really care. It's interesting if he legitimately didn't notice. I also am respectful and understanding of the fact that sometimes specifically general managers, but sometimes head coaches need to lie to us as well. It is part of the job description. So I can play the game. I can understand the game. It's all good. The Melton thing's interesting. It did definitely seem during OTAs and mini camps that this was he's a wide receiver, but we're trying him at corner. And it really looked that way because it almost felt like it was something that came together very quickly because he's still wearing number 80. More importantly, the wide receiver, he's wearing the offense's colors to the point where when he went over on the defensive side, they didn't even have a green penny waiting for him to it took like half the practice to get him a penny so that they actually had an 11th green player on defense and not 12. So I do think that this took a little bit of time. And I do think that initial mini camp was more of like, let's just look at this. We're going to keep him at wide receiver, but let's just see what this looks like. And then I think once they got the glimpse of it, they're like, we're in. We're going to do this full bore ahead. And then that's when Goody really said it even before the start.
Andy, you just went over 6 receivers and then McCole Hartman. Yep. There was no chance he was making this receiver room even before they saw that.
So, and I think this is the impetus for moving him to the defensive back room. You can tell they are glowing about Bo Melton anytime they talk about him. There was that mini camp practice. He was with the first team on kick return, punt coverage, kick coverage. There are very few people in the NFL that have the ability to be on the first team for all 4 of those units. And so I think they do legitimately see of all right, we would really like to find a way for this guy to make our team so we can get him out there as kind of a special teams ace. And now it's is the best opportunity. I mean, if you look at the depth charts, to your point at wide receiver, trying to make the number 4, 5, 6 wide receiver is absolutely brutal. The number 4 corner spot, if you have a cornerback next to your name, I don't care if you're Isaiah Dunn, Tyron Herring, I don't care if you're anyone. If that number 4 corner spot should be up for grabs for anyone that wants to go and take it. That Micah Robinson, Kalen King, Kamal Haddon, none of those guys have claim to that spot at this point. I think Haddon's the leader in the clubhouse, but anyone that has a cornerback next to their name can go out and earn that. So I think he's going to have an opportunity there if he shows that he can be the number 6 corner plus an ace on special teams plus give you an emergency wide receiver. That's his opportunity to make the team.
Andy Herman, any other highlights from today's practice we should know about?
Yeah, the defense was swarming. Of course, we talked about the Dontavian Wicks 50-yard bomb. That was awesome. Carrington Valentine had another interception. The 2-minute drills were once again pretty dominated by the defense.
Yeah.
So they the first couple were won by the defense easily. Then Sean Clifford actually had a nice drive, got him into field goal range. And then it almost felt like the offense was frustrated to the fact of we want one more shot at this because I've never seen them do this. They gave the number 1s another chance after they all went through. Maybe that was scripted to be the case, but I've never seen them do it that way. I almost wonder if the ones were we want another shot at this. We're going down there and scoring. And then of course they hit the bomb to Dontavian Wicks, but this secondary is flying around. We talked about Nate Hobbs and what he's been able to do so far. And then I'll just end with this. Brandon McManus, 15 of 15 so far, I mean, including multiple 50-yarders. The juxtaposition of where we were at with this a year ago at this time to now is a night and day difference. And I was talking to Marcus Eversole along the sidelines. The best kicker, and we can talk to Mason about this at some time. He'll obviously have a huge insight into this, but I've watched it with Mason. I've seen it now. The best kickers to me are the ones where it doesn't even look like they're trying to kick the ball. And Brandon McManus right now is just going up. It is the cleanest, smoothest. It looks like the ball is going to go 5-10 yards off of his foot. And then it just explodes. There's no there's not a ton of movement, or it doesn't even look like he's exerting effort. And that thing just explodes and goes right down the middle of the uprights. He's in his zone right now.
Did they sing him happy birthday after practice?
I don't know if they did. I do know it was his birthday today. I think it's what is it? I did no, it's one of the young players. Maybe it's McDuffie Simmons, I think tomorrow. But yeah, there's another one tomorrow too. But no birthday wishes that I saw.
That's easy to remember. Christmas in July for a McManus every year. That's real simple to remember. I lied. One more. How good is Isaiah Simmons look?
He looks fantastic. And again, it's very early on. The speed is evident. You can tell there's a reason why this guy was a top 10 draft pick in the NFL. He's still very young. There's still an opportunity for him to break out. We've seen this before. Devondre Campbell has had a very similar sort of situation, except Simmons was drafted even higher than what Campbell was, as I believe a 4th rounder. So, if they can find something there, I mean, the words have been glowing from his teammates. Xavier McKinney said that he's going to have a major role in the defense. Josh Jacobs called him a unicorn. And I think Simmons said he hasn't even been playing his fastest yet, that he's still kind of getting everything down. So I'm intrigued. I'm interested. I will say the idea of him has been certainly better than what we've seen on tape and defense the past couple of years. But man, if they can find something and get the most out of him, which Jeff Affley is certainly apt to do, I'm intrigued to say the least at what he can bring to this team.
What can people expect on the Pack a Day podcast this weekend?
Yeah, just a full recap of today's practice on tomorrow's show. We'll kind of probably do just a broader look at what's happened through the first week so far. And then, of course, just everything training camp. And of course, we're covering the team 365. So check it out over Pack a Day Podcast on YouTube or wherever you get your favorite podcast.
And Pack a Day Radio gets right back after it again, coming up on Monday from 8 to 9 here on The Fan. Of course, stream all of our local shows on YouTube now at The Fan Milwaukee. Use that @ at The Fan Milwaukee. And, of course, all of our podcasts available wherever you download your favorite podcast at. Andy Herman, have a good weekend. Thank you, sir.
You too, man. Appreciate it.
You betcha. There he's Andy Herman on the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Coming up, Bart Lundy, Milwaukee Panther men's basketball coach, will join us, talk about his roster and a golf outing they have coming up. That's all straight ahead. And if you love Wendy's classic chocolate vanilla frosty flavors, there's some big news. They're all new Frosty Swirls and now Frosty Fusions. Same creamy treat you've always loved, now with a flavor refresh. So what are these new flavors? Okay, well, you got the Frosty Swirl, strawberry, brownie batter, and caramel. Kay actually had the caramel one last night with the vanilla frosty base. I got the Frosty Fusion, the Oreo brownie with a chocolate base, by far my favorite ice cream dessert right now. Caramel crunch you can get, that's like pieces of toffee, and Pop-Tart strawberry. So clock in for sweet treat time with Wendy's. All new Frosty flavors, a refresh on a classic. It's got to be Wendy's. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's. Live from the 1250 AM at 105.7 FM The Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Sparky here. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's here on a Friday afternoon. The weekend is upon us. It's the air outside stinks. I'll be honest. I mean, you go outside, man, and you just can feel that it's not great air, and the air quality alert is in place until later tonight. So be careful. If you got problems with breathing, asthma, whatever the case is, be careful if you're going outside the rest of the night. And lots of stuff going on in the area. Obviously, all eyes on American Family Field. That game tied at 1. Everybody waiting for that home run derby afterwards, seeing Fielder and Braun and Gomez and Niger Morgan and Gallardo and all these guys. That'll be on FanDuel Sports Network because that game's sold out. It is packed, right, Charlie? I mean, there is not an empty seat in the house.
Never. It's always a party there, man.
Dude, it is packed right now, so very cool. Joining us now on the Fan Guest Hotline, speaking of very cool, powered by the Gruber Law Offices, it is Coach Bart Lundy, head coach at the Milwaukee Panthers. Follow him on Twitter at Coach Bart Lundy, and he was dressed in style last night at the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame induction ceremony. Coach, thanks for coming on, man. How'd you enjoy last night?
Oh, Sparky, I thought it was awesome. The team Lammy and Cass, they outdid themselves. I texted both of them afterwards. I was like, wow, it's actually my uncle was just inducted into the South Carolina Sports Hall of Fame about a month and a half ago. So this is my second Hall of Fame induction ceremony of the summer, and I think they knocked it out of the park. What do you think?
I thought, and I kind of knew this beforehand because I've interviewed him before, and I said it at the beginning of the show, if Ernie Johnson was speaking at Fifer Forum, if Ernie Johnson was speaking at American Family Field, I would pay whatever it takes to go listen to Ernie Johnson for an hour, 2 hours, however long he wanted to talk. I'd go listen because the dude is amazing.
Yeah, it was a BlackBerry moment, right?
A BlackBerry moment. Yeah, exactly right. And it was so good last night listening to all those guys talk. And if you win a national championship, you too can be in the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame, Coach.
That's right. That's right. I am more athletic than Ernie, I think.
His vertical apparently isn't very good according to Brian Anderson.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the Milwaukee Panthers and where we're at here, because obviously, you know, the story for the last several months, and it just does not stop. It's every day. If you listen to the Mason Crosby show from 9 to 11 with Mitch Thunder and Ellis, Mason Crosby, I feel like every day has a topic on the NIL because it's driving him nuts. As far as how everything changes. And now we have the executive order coming in from the president yesterday, and everybody's trying to figure out the details on that. Where are you at on kind of, I don't know, it's been the wild, wild west about how this whole thing is playing out and what it means for Milwaukee?
Well, I think I'm the same as everybody else. I would like to have some concrete guidance on how to proceed. You know, we're trying to not only navigate that space, but do we bring it in-house? Do we keep it in the collective? And then, you know, as of 2 weeks ago, the collectives were all the deals in the collectives were being turned down. And then last week, so we panicked and we're going to bring it in-house. And then last week, the Power Fours go at the whatever they're calling, College Sports Commission or whatever they're called. And now they're going to relax that, and, you know, can you keep it in the collectives? And then the president has an executive order. We would just at this point like to know, you know, how to proceed, and you know, we're doing the work, and we're getting the players, and we're trying to do right by the university and the program and the sport. But boy, they could help us a little bit more.
Yeah, you know, that's the other thing that it feels like to me, and I don't know about you, but it feels like, you know, we're all hell bent on making sure the Big Ten and the SEC is happy, and the ACC is trying to fight their way into this, saying, hey, we don't forget about us and what we've done for college football. But what about the mid-majors in college basketball? It feels like you all are for the forgotten bunch at this point. I'd put the Big East in there, too, with the basketball schools, where nobody's concerned about you all. Nobody's even talking about the basketball aspect of this.
Yeah, they really aren't. But, you know, it's been like that. It's been football that has kind of driven, you know, the bus on all these decisions, and basketball to a smaller extent. But, you know, it's the Power Four, but it's really the football schools that are driving it. And, you know, it's in basketball, I think at the level what they're concerned about is parity. I think the football programs are going to spend what they're going to spend, but each school in the Power Four is going to have a different amount they want to spend on basketball. And I think from a coach's perspective, they see that as, they'd rather have it like NASCAR. Everybody has the same regulations. Everybody has the same money to spend. So those are the complaints I hear from them. But for us, it's a way different ball game. I'll put it this way. I've got a good friend who has been a GM forever in Australia. And he said, mate, it's terrific. You get to build your own team every year. And I said, Jeff, here's the difference. I can build a team, but I also have to go raise the money. And he's like, oh, that's a different story. So,
Yeah.
For us, it's a difficult task. And I know everybody's scrambling, trying to find the money, but there's no real TV revenue coming into Milwaukee. No football and no real TV revenue. So it's an uphill struggle for us.
What about in that conference itself, in the Horizon? Is there a team maybe that has way more money than the rest of you at this point, or is everybody pretty much in the same playing field?
No, nobody's in the same playing field. They're relative to what's going on in college basketball. There are haves and have-nots. What I'll tell you is we're above the below and below the upper.
So you're in the middle.
We're right in the middle, but there are teams in our league. There's several teams in our league that have more than double to spend on their roster than we do. And I'm not complaining because we've got the best product. We've got the best university. We've got the best practice facility, the best fan base, the best arena, the best city. So we just have to make up for you're always going to be behind in something, right?
Yeah.
And you're always going to have a challenge, and that's a bit of our challenge, but we will overcome that.
Milwaukee Panthers basketball head coach Bart Lundy joining us here. Follow him on Twitter at Coach Bart Lundy. Speaking of raising money, that's what we're trying to do at this golf outing coming up on Tuesday, August 12th at Fairways of Woodside. That's in Sussex. I know that course because we used to do our charity golf outing there back in the day, so I'm familiar with that course. A very, very nice place to have a golf outing. Tell everybody about this.
Yeah, it's one of our bigger events. So to raise money for the NIL for the players, we have really three different revenue streams. We have donations, obviously. We have we're going to play some guarantee games, and some of that will go to the NIL, and then we have these events, and the golf tournament is one of our biggest events. So if you're a Panther fan out there and you want to help the program and you want to help the players, because this will go directly to the players, just go to our website. There are still foursomes available. There's still T-Box sponsorships available. Get your company, get your buddies, and come out and have a great day. The whole team will be there. We're in week 4 of the summer workouts, and you'll get to hang out with those guys, see how bad they are at golf, and help the Panthers.
Help the Panthers. Absolutely right. So again, that's coming up on August 12th. It's the Panther Future Fund Victory Golf Outing coming up Tuesday, August 12th at Fairways of Woodside in Sussex. Make sure to go and sign up for that. Again, pantherfuturefund.com, pantherfuturefund.com. Coach, thanks so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Sparky. Appreciate you having me, and you guys have a good weekend.
Sounds good. You as well, Coach. Take care. There he is, Coach Bart Lundy, Milwaukee men's basketball head coach. I didn't leave Charlie very much time, but we got get a little something in here before the weekend, so he can send me off on a positive, happy note.
What sound clips will Chicago Charlie pick today for Sparky? Will Sparky become enraged? Will laughter ensue? It's time for Charlie's Sound of the Day. It's Wisconsin Sports Daily, served up by Wendy's on The Fan.
All right, time to get to our guy, Charlie. Don't forget, Coach Lundy joined us, the Fan Guest Hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. All right, Charlie, what do we got?
All right, first up here, we're going to hear from Ryan Clark on ESPN NFL Live on what Jordan Love needs to focus on this season.
You know what's funny? It's about what he does in the regular season as well. It's about protecting the football in the most crucial moments. He carries this entire organization's dreams in his right arm and his decision-making. We saw it against San Francisco at the end of 2023-2024 season. He had the turnovers in the second half. Saw the same thing against the Philadelphia Eagles in the playoff. Jordan Love has to protect the ball while maintaining his aggressiveness at the quarterback position. And I believe that if they do that with what Josh Jacobs added, with Matthew Golden as the #1 pick this season, and also with the defense and Jeff Hafley entering their second year, they have an opportunity to be one of the best in all of the NFL, not just the NFC North.
Okay. I don't disagree with Ryan Clark, former NFL cornerback, on what he says about Love, because I think there was a knock on Love last year, right? He gets out of the gate, he throws interceptions in like his first 8 games or whatever. Then he got super conservative after that and didn't take as many shots and wasn't as aggressive at quarterback. I think that will change. I think you'll see more of an aggressive style out of Jordan Love to begin the year. I think the injury also didn't help things either with his knee, and he was kind of battling with that all season long too, as far as not letting him to plant and throw maybe as much as he wanted to. I expect a more aggressive Jordan Love. Ryan Clark is going to be 1,000% right, though. If it is super conservative and he doesn't take his shots, then yeah, that's a problem. But you heard Andy Herman earlier saying he threw a 50-yard bomb to Dontavian Wicks earlier today. Love loves taking that long shot. He loves the big plays and taking those deep throws. No question about that. All right, Charlie.
Next up here, we're going to hear from Nick Wright on What's Right, his podcast.
Nick Wright again?
Yeah.
Twice in 1 week?
He has another good one. I think this is one you'll like.
All right.
He begs beat writers to limit their use of the term carted off. Gotta click over here, maybe.
So now Aaron Glenn has come out and said it's a toe. And then the further reporting was sitting in the cart. And this is a problem every training camp. And I beg. And again, maybe it's toe injuries can be significant. I'm not acting like we know Justin Fields is going to be fine. I am saying this. NFL beat writers, we need precise language. We need the difference between carted off and rode a cart off.
Oh, good God.
You follow me? Carted off implies, like in a football game in the regular season, when a guy suffers something horrific, they bring out the cart. He's either prone to a board, or if it's lower leg, leaning back, towel on his head, air cast, something, immobilized. Ride a cart means, I don't want to walk all the way back there. Can I hop on this golf cart next to the PR guy? And so the further details were Justin Fields was sitting in the front seat of the cart. They got to the facility. He limped off. Now, again, if you're a Jets fan, it's still not good news. I'm not saying it is. But everybody knows carted off connotates, oh my God, season over. Rode a cart off is very different. So we just need to be a little more precise with our language on it.
Get out of here. You wasted my time listening to that knucklehead be mad because he overreacted to something probably. Just stop. Who cares? It's Justin Fields, for God's sakes. You're not winning anything with Justin Fields with the Jets anyhow at this point. Like, if it was Justin Fields on a really good team and now their season could be over, okay, I see the uproar. Fine, I get it. He's surrounded with crap. There is no way it's going to matter one way or the other. That team's going to win 4 or 5 games, and their season's going to be over. I get it.
You wouldn't be a little frustrated or kind of confused if the Packers said Jordan Love was carted off the field and it turns out he just had turf toe and was sitting in the front of the car and rode out?
Absolutely.
Like, that would be a little frustrating from a fan base viewpoint.
I mean, very easily, you want to end this? Fine. Then just don't allow people to report what's happening. You could say that he hurt his toe or hurt his foot, but you can't say how he exits the field so we don't get media members mad at us. Get out of here. Okay, that's it. We don't have any time. And I know you've got the good one, the knucklehead at Baylor, Dave Aranda, the former Badger coach. You can Google that one. It's one of the most bizarre press conference answers talking about throwing midgets.
I'll play it tomorrow in the pub crawl during
Oh,
Wisconsin
there you
Sports
go.
Weekend.
Pub crawl tomorrow, 9 to 11 on Wisconsin Sports Weekend. Check it out, him and Jack Pembroke here on The Fan. It's been Wisconsin Sports Weekend, served up by Wendy's. Live from the Fan Studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Have a good one, y'all. Toodles.